Alright, so we're going to talk about taking towers, how to exert pressure, and just moving forward with an advantage. So right here, we've got Gnar solo killing Nautilus under the tower, and then he gets out and survives. Okay, we've got both bot laners with advantage. They've got basically full health. Vayne's low on mana, but it's Vayne. She only has, like, hardly anything that uses mana. Mal's is missing half his HP, but Ahri just recalled. That is, she's sitting back in the fog of war. I think just a second ago we saw her backing though. Alright. And then we've got Rengar. He's not super healthy, but he's sitting on 60 CS. So if you press tab while you're in the game, and you see that you have double the CS of the other jungler, you can stop jungling. And try to get some pressure out in some lanes. You guys have vision of Rammus right now. He's sitting over here, which means you know he can be heading towards bot lane because he has no play that can be made mid. And you know that his red buff isn't up. So the only thing he could possibly be doing over here is going towards bot lane. So if Rengar, instead of doing wolves, is pathing from his jungle over here down to bot lane to either A, counter gank, or B, shove the tower in. So you've already got minions on the tower. I think here in a second I switch over to that view. So basically what I'm saying right now is that Rengar needs to be pressuring elsewhere on the map. Especially now you just got a vision of Elise not being in this lane. You have a wave coming in right here. So this wave is coming in. If Rengar hadn't done wolves, he'd already be like right here. And you've seen where Rammus is gone. So Rammus is doing something that makes literally no sense. Rammus and Elise are trying to gank mid, which is it just makes no sense. There's no play that could really feasibly be made there against the Malzahar that's up by 30 CS and is 2-0. Elise and Rammus should be sitting in bot lane. The fact that bot lane was so pushed in gives Rammus an opportunity to make a play. Bot lane has gotten a couple kills for them, so like they have the opportunity to actually do something and try to shut down the 4-1 Vayne in a 3v2 instead of trying to 2v1 the Malzahar when they have no vision on Rengar. Right? They don't know where Rengar is, so they really don't have anything that they can reliably do, except for make that dive, the deep play on bot lane here, because it's too deep for Rengar to help, since it's under their tower. So if Elise is over here with Ezreal while they're trying to just kill some of these minions off the tower, and Rammus is coming down through here with his Powerball. Even if you guys have vision, Powerball is very fast, so Rammus could get down here to try to collapse on you guys. But then Rengar would be here for a counter gank, which they should also be planning on that. But they should have the ability to win that 3v3 because of the tower support, or at least push you guys off and relieve the pressure from the bot lane, let Ezreal try to catch up and farm because he's also down by 30 CS. They're pretty much just getting wrecked in CS across the entire map. And then you guys would have 3 people down in bot lane, and they can't fight you. They're just trying to hold the tower, and so you either are going to siege down and take the tower, which sieging is difficult with Vayne, and you have a melee support, and you have a melee jungler. So sieging isn't a great option, but with Alistar's ult up, it's diving is an option. It's hard to dive a Rammus and an Elise. However, Vayne is just so far ahead at 4-1, even probably sitting on, I think, enough to finish the IE with these 2 damage items and this attack speed item. You're able to just deal with any champion that's going to try to jump onto you. And so if you pressure them off of this tower by making them recall or something like that, then you take the tower. Or if they stick around for a while, you can just rotate up to Dragon the next time Malzahar forces Ahri out of lane. You guys can sit down here for a good few minutes, and if you have Rammus constantly on the map, like if you know that Rammus is just sitting down here because if Rammus leaves, the 3 of you are gonna dive Elise and Ezreal, and in a 3v2 it's a super safe dive. So Rammus has to continue sitting down here if you guys are pressuring like that, which means Gnar is going to continue doing all of this that's happening up here. He's going to continue getting kills on Nautilus, he's going to continue getting more CS, and then Malzahar can also play as aggressively as he wants. Earlier you had that flash kill onto Ahri, like your flash is about back up, and again, so if Rammus is just sitting down here, you're going to be able to make flash plays on Ahri and murder her again. Now it's going to continue pressuring. And then if Rammus ever backs off, you guys take the tower. Alright, so let's talk about a different point in the game. So that's just kind of like what you can do from this point with the advantage that you have here. Now we can move forward into the game and talk about like some tier 2 turrets. Alright, so I talked a lot later on in this video about teleport and how you can use the teleport play to your advantage. So I've got this open, so let's like take a look at general positioning for taking turrets. Alright. So the first turret, when it falls, is based on jungle pressure and what lane is being able to win. So when you have an advantage in a lane, so if you're looking at your draft, right, in loading screen, as the jungler, you see that you get Gnar versus Nautilus, that's a winning lane. You see that you have Malzahar versus Ahri, that's a winning lane. I don't know if bot lane is supposed to be a winning lane, because who the fuck plays support Elise? But you know that you have winning lanes. Mid is harder to pressure until you're level 6 on Wingar, but with Gnar up top, Nautilus is easy early ganks, and top is the easiest first tower to take anyway. So if you have good ward coverage, you know, if you get your ward coverage here and here, you know, on their buffs, you know you can track Rammus, and then you can also, like, pink wards in this bush and this bush rarely get cleared. It takes a while for somebody to walk through them and actually clear it, and you can keep a pink ward in their jungle for like 3 or more minutes in those 2 bushes, because people just don't check them. And getting that kind of vision, knowing where their jungler is, gives your jungler the ability to make proactive plays on the map and take turrets. So when you have your top laner is pushing in to their top laner, then you can use your jungler to make a dive play, especially when Gnar's up 2 to 1. It's an easy enough dive play, especially since Rengar was sub-farmed. Or if you wait until you're level 6, you know, you can make a flash Malzahar play onto Ahri and just kill her outright with the Rengar ult. And then, let's see. So that's kind of like what Rengar can be doing in a game like this. But I want to talk about, in general, not just with specific picks, how to pressure turrets and things like that. So let's assume that a couple of these towers are already gone, because I've talked a lot about how to get this first tower now, what to do with lane pressure, etc., and we can look at that more. And it especially varies with specific comps, because then you could have like a Caitlyn Lulu lane, which is probably just going to take a tower by itself. So if we look at later on in the game, how do I get rid of these? So let's assume like this tower's gone, and this tower's gone, and this tower's gone. It's just, and we'll say that you guys are down mid tower as well. So it's just their inners, and you guys still have a tower advantage. So you want to look at where you can get minion waves pushing in to be able to successfully take their towers. It obviously varies from comp to comp, but if you just in general have an even mid lane, so just 2 mages, an even bot lane, you know, both ADCs have similar CS and everything, and your supports aren't too great, and we'll say Ardent Sensor supports, since those are so popular right now. So like it's a Janna and a Lulu, right? Those are so common. Your top laner, right? Teleport is one of the most important summoner spells in the game. Your top laner's teleport and the AD carry's flash are the 2 most important summoner spells in the game. So if your top laner is constantly pressuring like this, okay, against their top laner, you have to keep wards out to watch for their jungler, right? Because if you don't want to get collapsed on by their jungler, because then you have way too far that you have to run back. Okay. But what you can do most of the time with teleport is like 1-4-0. 1-4-0 is obviously an incredibly common split push tactic. They're going to be over here just trying to keep their tower alive, and if you've got your top laner pressuring, he's going to be able to do something. And if it's a mobile top laner like Gnar, then he can not even use teleport. If a fight breaks out in mid, he can just get over there in time. Or if like let's say this tower's already gone, and so all of these champions are down here sieging this tower, then you've got the teleport that you can use to get down there if a fight breaks out. But I'm a big fan of just sieging over going for risky dives. Obviously, if you've got an Alistar, Rengar, Gnar team that's all ahead, that's a great team to do tower dives with. But if you've got a Caitlyn as your AD carry, then, or another long-range AD carry like Tristana, you don't have to go for dives. You can just sit and siege a tower indefinitely and use the gold advantage to keep them from fighting you, especially something like Tristana. And assuming that like they don't have a hard engaging support, right, then you can easily keep them from fighting you. You can just keep backing off. Caitlyn's range, Tristana's range is going to let you repeatedly get chip damage onto the tower. Sometimes it's frustrating. It can take like 5 minutes to break one tower, but you're constantly putting pressure into them, and they're not getting any money. But that's very important. The fact that they've got 4 people grouped up, and they're only getting the one wave every 30 seconds. You're doing the same thing, but eventually you're getting the tower, whereas they're not. And so you're constantly getting that extra gold. And then it's, again, important to keep wards in their jungle. So if you ever see their jungler going for a play on the top laner backs off, and then you can dive. And then the 3 of you can dive, or you just completely bully them off the tower and you take the turret. Alright. And then we've also got, like, what you can do to dance around Baron to help take towers. So if you're up in the game, or even if you're even in the game, you can pressure Baron. And it's really easy to pressure Baron with a mid laner and support can go a long way to keeping 5 people away from a Baron pit. When you have an AD carry like Vayne, you need to be aware of being able to sneak a Baron, because Vayne can just do so much damage to Baron. Or like Twitch, and Malzahar is a great mid for doing Baron damage. Now if you've got like severe AD carry and Orianna mid, like you're not going to be able to sneak a Baron. It's going to take a lot more planning. And if you've got the comp to sneak it, there is, sometimes if your AD carry is big enough, you can just 2-man the Baron, and you can use your mid laner and your support to completely zone. If you get, your wards in here and here, like that covers like the entire jungle. Something that's nice about this tool is you can see the area, the vision area that wards give. Obviously, this is going to be blocked out by some walls here, but these 2 wards are going to give you vision of pretty much everything, especially if your top laner is just right here fucking around, then you've got vision of this lane, which means that they don't have any way to come into you without you knowing about it, because we're assuming that you've got some minions chilling over here. And so they're going to have to just walk through here, right? And their support's probably going to have to face check, or their jungler's going to have to face check something, because you're going to have a sweeper on your jungler and a sweeper on your support, so they've got no vision of this area. And then you can just kind of dance around, use your mid laner or your support, like jungler, wherever your engage is. So if you've got, Malzahar, then he can just sit in this bush. Somebody, even if the support walks up, you just ult them, you kill them, and then you can take a Baron. Or if you've got your support and your mid laner, like sitting like this, supports, even if it's Janna or Lulu or Alistar, you've got all this CC that you can use to just keep people away from you. Just headbutt them away, do these other things that buy time, and like a Sejuani or Gragas, some other tank jungler, and then just an AD carry like Vayne or Twitch is going to be, or Kog'Maw is going to be able to obliterate Baron just by themselves. And this is something you can do if you're even or ahead on gold. It's a lot harder to do if you're behind, because it's easier for like your mid laner support to just die. But even if you are even on gold, you can still just choke out vision and push them away. I guess this is also a good time to talk about what you can do if you're in the position of the team that's getting choked out of vision, which is a lot more difficult. But again, you've got to start looking at cross-map plays. So how do you take towers if you're down in gold is a totally different subject, and it's a lot more difficult, obviously. So if you're down in gold and you're going to take towers, you have to make trades. It is generally what's going to happen. So if, we'll just keep using blue team as the team that's behind here. So let's say that, you're the blue team and you're getting pushed in, like I had illustrated earlier with the 1-4-0 split push. Um, right, you don't have a lot of options for how you're going to get towers. There's not a lot of ways to break this. So you've got to use cross map plays, and this is something where a lot of mid laners who have teleport come in handy, because then you can do like 1-3-1s. But pretty much once you're already to this point, you're going to have to get a flank engage. So if you have a top laner that can forfeit this tower, like you'll have to trade this tower for a one team fight. So like this top laner backs off, and if you can get a surprise engage over here before they come over, before their top laner can get, comes back, then you make it. Also, when team fighting, when doing these sorts of engages, you've got to be very careful about when to back off. So if you engage and then their top laner is too close, you need to be able to back off, which obviously that's easier to do with some comps than it is with others. Yeah, so if you're down, you've got to be willing to make sacrifices, like in chess. So in this scenario, you sacrifice your top tower or your bot tower, whichever it is that the top laner is split pushing in. You sacrifice that tower to win the team fight. And once the team fight's won, then you can push down mid, or you can go take objectives. Or if the game is in a neutral state where you're down gold, and what I mean by that is you're down gold, but they just recalled because they just took a dragon and they took a tower, they took a dragon, and they recalled. That is when you need to rush out, get your control wards over here, whichever objective is up, whichever objective you need to get, whether it's Baron or a dragon, and choke out their vision before they get back on the map. And that's something you can do even when you're down in gold. And now the first thing they should be doing is coming back to take out of your vision, because their supports get their fresh sight stone, their sweeping trinkets are back up. But then that means you know where they are. And if you see most of them, hanging out over here, clearing out vision, if there are 3 or 4 of them there, then you can make plays in bot lane, where you can have your top laner with teleport down here, or or mid laner with teleport, something like that, pressuring down here while they have the majority of their team on the other side of the map. And so you set up vision, and when they come to clear it is when you can take a cross map objective. I think that covers a lot of things on how to do it. So just quickly going back over it. When you're ahead in gold, you need jungler pressure early game to take towers, and other than that, you need to rotate with minion waves and abuse teleport. If you're even on gold, you need to use sieges and vision control to your advantage, and if you're behind on gold, you have to make sacrifices to get back ahead.